Today, we are doing a deep dive into the world of Windows tablets. Specifically, we're looking at two devices that really represent, well, completely different takes on the two-in-one idea.
That's right. We're aiming to cut through, the usual marketing stuff and really unpack the specs for you. We've got a premium powerhouse and then an ultra slim, budget-friendly option.
Yeah, we're talking about the Microsoft Surface Pro 9 on one end and the Fusion 5 10.1-inch tablet on the other. It really shows the whole range, doesn't it?
It does. You really see the full spectrum of what Windows portability can mean.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's maybe start with the heavyweight, the Microsoft Surface Pro 9. We're looking at the Intel i7 version, 16 gigs of RAM. This seems like the go-to for serious productivity, right?
Absolutely. And what's really interesting here is the thinking behind it. Microsoft isn't pitching this as just like a tablet. They're aiming for something that can genuinely replace a laptop.
Proper workhorse.
Exactly. It's built on the Intel Evo platform. That's Intel's standard for premium laptops, really. Think fast performance, instant wake, good battery life. It's about blending that tablet flexibility with real laptop power.
And the processor inside backs that up. It's a 12th gen Intel Core i7. That's not some lightweight mobile chip.
No, not at all. That's serious computing power.
Yeah.
And it's paired with 16 GB of DDR5 RAM. Now, that DDR5 detail is important if you're someone who, multitasks a lot or uses demanding creative software.
Why DDR5 specifically?
Well, it's just much faster than the older DDR3 or DDR4 you find in cheaper devices. We're talking potentially double the speed in some cases. It means apps load quicker. Switching between them feels instant. Less lag, basically.
Okay, but despite all that power, it's still pretty light, right? Under 2 pounds.
Yeah, just 1.94 pounds. It's remarkably portable for what's inside. But, where the Surface Pro 9 really shines and justifies its price is probably the display.
Ah, the screen. Tell us about that.
So it's a 13-inch pixel sense display. The resolution is 2880 by 1920 pixels. Very sharp, lots of detail.
That's quite high for a tablet screen.
It is. And beyond just the sharpness, it supports Dolby Vision IQ for better contrast and color, and crucially, 120 Hz refresh rate.
Okay, 120 hertz. Why is that a big deal on a tablet?
It just makes everything feel incredibly smooth. Scrolling through documents, websites, using the pen, it feels much more responsive, almost like paper. It can really reduce eye strain, too, if you're looking at it all day. Makes the whole experience feel, well, premium.
Got it. So great power, great visuals. What about the practical stuff for mobile users? Battery life and connections.
Battery life is rated up to 15.5 hours on average. That's genuinely all-day potential for many people. Leave the charger at home,
That's impressive. And ports.
Connectivity is top-notch. You get USB-C ports and, importantly, Thunderbolt 4, plus the latest Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.1.
Okay, hold on. Thunderbolt 4, is that really necessary for the average tablet user? Seems a bit overkill.
That's a fair question. For maybe 90% of people, probably not essential. But for the pro user this is aimed at, Thunderbolt 4 is key. It means super fast data transfers like moving huge video files and, crucially, you can drive multiple high-res external monitors from a single port.
Ah, so if you want to dock it and use it as your main desktop replacement.
Exactly. Then Thunderbolt 4 becomes really valuable. It also has that adjustable kickstand, good integration with your phone via Phone Link. Oh, and it's EPEAT Gold D certified too, so it meets high standards for energy efficiency and sustainability.
So the takeaway for the Surface Pro 9 is basically desktop-level power and features in a very portable premium package.
That sums it up well. It's for the user who can't afford to compromise on performance, even on the go.
All right, let's completely switch gears now. Let's talk about the other end of the spectrum, the Fusion 5 10.1-inch Windows 11 tablet PC, the FWI N232 Plus model.
Yeah.
It's aiming for value, right?
Totally different proposition. It's much smaller, obviously, 10.1-inch screen, and even lighter than the Surface, actually, at 1.52 pounds. It comes with Windows 11 preloaded, but the marketing is clear. This is for education, basic office tasks, maybe some industrial uses.
So think students, field workers, maybe point-of-sale systems.
Exactly. Situations where cost and basic Windows functionality are the main priorities.
Okay, so if the Surface Pro has that Core i7, what's powering this one? The specs say an upgraded quad-core CPU listed as Intel 13th Gen. Sounds pretty current.
You need to be careful with wording like that on budget devices. When they say Intel 13th Gen in this context, you're likely looking at an entry-level chip, probably an Intel N series, maybe a Celeron. It's designed for efficiency, low power draw, not raw speed.
So it'll run Windows 11 fine for basics,
Yeah.
web browsing, email, Word documents.
Oh yeah, absolutely fine for that stuff. But you wouldn't want to try running, say, Adobe Premiere Pro or heavy multitasking on it. It's just not built for that kind of load.
That makes sense. And the RAM reflects that too, I imagine.
It does. It has 8 GB of DDR3 SGRAM, again, enough for light use, but it's older, slower RAM technology compared to the DDR5 in the Surface.
Right, and storage. The specs mention 64 GB hard drive, but also 128 GB flash memory size. What's the actual internal storage?
It seems the primary internal storage is 64 GB, which, let's be honest, is quite small for Windows 11 these days, once you account for the OS itself and updates.
Yeah, that fills up fast. How do they get around that?
Expandable storage. And this is a big plus for a value device. It has a micro SD card slot, and you can add up to a 512 GB card, so you can store plenty of documents, photos, media, relatively cheaply.
Okay, that's a practical solution. What about the screen? We're coming from that high-res 120 hertz Surface display.
Yeah, it's a step down, naturally. It's a 10.1-inch full HD screen. The resolution is 1920 by 1200 pixels.
Which for a 10-inch screen at this price is actually pretty decent, right?
It is perfectly respectable. It'll be sharp enough for reading, watching videos, doing basic work. You just don't get the sheer pixel density, the size, or that super smooth 120 hertz refresh rate of the Surface. It's a clear trade-off.
Now, connectivity. This is one area where budget devices can sometimes surprise, maybe keeping older ports.
And the Fusion 5 does exactly that. It skips Thunderbolt, obviously, but it gives you things often missing on premium slim devices. You get a full-size USB 3.0 port.
A full-size USB, that's handy.
Very handy for plugging in thumb drives, mice, keyboards without needing an adapter. And crucially, it has a micro HDMI port.
Micro HDMI, why is that significant?
Because lots of older projectors and monitors still use HDMI. Having that port built in means you don't need to carry a specific dongle if you need to connect to presentation equipment, which is great for education or some business settings. It also has 5G Wi-Fi, likely meeting 5 GHz band support, not cellular 5G, and Bluetooth 4.4.
So the trade-off seems clear. You lose the high-end performance, screen and RAM of the Surface Pro, but you gain extreme portability, affordability, and some very practical legacy ports. What's the biggest downside then?
Battery life.
Hmm.
It's stated as around 6 hours on average.
Only 6 hours.
Yeah, that's a significant difference from the Surface Pro's 15.5 hours. 6 hours might get you through a morning meeting or a couple of classes, but you'll definitely need to carry the charger if you plan to use it for a full day. It's the major compromise for the size and price.
But they do offer something for peace of mind on the warranty front.
They do. It comes with a 12-month full USA warranty, handled through their U.S. Service Center. That's actually quite reassuring for a budget electronic device.
Okay. So wrapping this comparison up, if someone's listening trying to decide, how do they choose? It seems like a very clear split.
It really is. It boils down to what can you absolutely not compromise on. If you need top-tier performance for demanding software, if you value that super smooth, high-res 120 Hz display, and you need battery life that lasts all day, well, then you need to look at the Surface Pro 9. You're paying a premium for that capability and freedom.
But if budget is the absolute driving factor,
Then the Fusion 5 becomes very appealing. If you need basic Windows 11 for emails, web, documents, maybe light media consumption, and you value having those built-in USB-A and micro HDMI ports, plus extreme portability and low cost, then the Fusion 5 makes a lot of sense. You accept the shorter battery life and the less powerful internals as part of the deal.
that difference in screen resolution alone, 2880 by 1920 versus 1920 by 1200, kind of sums up the whole power versus value equation, doesn't it?
Perfectly. One is about density, quality, and performance. The other is about practicality and affordability.
It's fascinating just how broad the Windows tablet space has become. It's not just one type of device anymore.
No, and it makes you wonder about the future, right? Especially with, new Surface devices starting to use Snapdragon ARM chips, focusing heavily on efficiency and potentially even longer battery life.
Right, the ARM transition.
Yeah. So the question is, will the high end of the market continue to push Intel performance boundaries like the Surface Pro 9 does, or will we see a bigger shift towards ARM-based Windows tablets, prioritizing super long battery and efficiency above everything else?
Yeah.
That's the interesting tension to watch.
That's a great point to end on. Well, that was our deep dive into two Windows tablets that really stand out at the top of their respective games' premium and value. Whether you need that i7 powerhouse or a really sleek, affordable quad-core option, There's definitely a Windows 2-in-1 out there for you.
And if you want to check out the latest prices and deals on either the Microsoft Surface Pro 9 or this Fusion 5 FWIN 232 Plus, definitely have a look at the links we put in the description below.
Yeah, please do. And if you enjoyed this comparison, found it useful, we'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel Tech Talk Central for more deep dives like this one. Thanks so much for tuning in.